Hello everyone, welcome to Bargain Gaming, where we can play excellent games without busting our wallets. I'd like to dedicate this episode to the game mechanics of Grand Ages Medieval. In Grand Ages Medieval, trading is the core of the gameplay here, and meaning how we do well on trading. If we don't do well in trading, we will fail this game completely. And if we do well in trading, then we can create, we have a chance of creating an empire that will cover the earth, the known earth of that point in time. And trading is all about buying and selling goods. So if demand is high and supply is low, we get good prices. Vice versa, demand is low and we have excess of the supply, prices drop, and we lose money. And every town has 5 open slots. Like this town is producing 5 items. It's going to produce wood, pressing L2 and using the L3. So this is producing, that's a lumberjack, this is a grain farm, and this is a beekeeper, honey, this is brewery, and this is bakery. So it has 5 slots for manufacturing, and each manufacturing we can make as many factories. So right now there are 13 factories producing wood, 16 factories producing grain, and then such and such so forth. Now what we need to always keep in mind is that factories cost money not just to build, but there's a maintenance cost, like there's a labor cost. Like in this case, in the lower right hand corner we can see tax income from this town, labor cost, which is enormous, right? It's like, and then income from the goods. So apparently our goods are selling well enough that we're making income on the goods. And then there's the building cost for that period of time. And so right now this town, Cinnamon, is actually making a little money. We're positive 3,000. Now the items to be traded, again pressing L2, left stick. So there are 20 items in this game that can be made, produced, etc., and sold. And so these items with the stars in it represent, those are the items being made in this particular town. So we're making grain, we're making honey, we're making beer, and we're making cake, and we're making wood. And so these represent the quantities present in town, and this represent the price. So right now there are, normally this would be like, okay, the barrels represent the amount of quantity, satisfaction level for that particular item. 0 barrel means there's a dire need for it. 1 barrel means there's a great need for it. When there are 2 barrels, it's like we've reached equilibrium. When we have 3 or 4 barrels, that means there's too much supply and prices drop. So like in this item, usually this is the standard price for everything. But since we have different availabilities here, different amounts, so we have different prices. Like wine, because we have such a dearth of it, is now going at 200. Normally we will see about $40 rising gently and then become very steep towards the last 3 products. These 3 products are considered premium items or luxury items. So is it on the same? So is it on the right side? Again, we will be seeing, if this is an equilibrium where there are 2 barrels, not this right means, right, we have an oversupply of grain. This would have been at 40, and then curving up all the way to over 1,000 for this item represents pump. Pump represents all luxury items in this particular world. So the last 3 items on both columns represent luxury items, and therefore they are the best products to be able that we can make and sell, and we will make the best return on it. But the converse is also true. Fluctuation in prices on these items are more volatile or more exaggerated if there's shortages versus oversupply. Unlike on the food, on the upper level, like here, food, grain. Also, grain is the only food in this game. All the rest, fruit, fish, uh, cake, bacon, they don't count as food. Only grain is considered as food. And so, food, logs, bricks, the the three items, they do not fluctuate severely. So that's why right now we oversupply is only 37. Normal is 40. I think when the scarcity, maybe it goes up to about 44 or something. I can't remember. But the lack of food will cause famine. So it is bad to be lacking food. And then this represents consumption in this town. And this one is a good guide for a quick overview of our entire empire. So it shows production, and this column shows the are we short or excess. White is we're on balance. Red is we are short on that one. Green is we have excess of that. And so these are all our towns. So are they balanced out with this one? So these are our consumption. So it says the stock. It says number of businesses making that one. This is how much is produced, right, in a 10-week period, and this is our consumption in a 10-week period. So green means we are producing slightly more than consumption. Here we're definitely less than consumption. So it gives us a great quick overview, very quick. And so those tables are nice for us to look at. And then now the most important point, okay, like I said, there are costs here. The most important one is the trader. The trader is our main workhorse, and they're the ones going from town to town and trying to buy and sell items for us. So by hovering over the trader and pressing X, we see the detailed view of it in our left-hand corner, lower left-hand corner. This guy using the D-pad, so no, first it shows that he has the potential to carry 15 items. And remember, this game has 20 items. So he can go around buying and selling up to a maximum of 15 items. And on the D-pad, we will see this one approves the route or not. This button sets the route. And this one determines how many barrels we want him to, the number of carts. Each cart has about 100 barrels. And so, I'm mistaken. So this guy is dragging around, currently, he's dragging around 11 carts, and we're asking him to add 5 more carts to his route. So this one adds adds more carts, or this one lessens it. So in this game, I have picked up the perk that allows our trader to automatically pick up carts in a town that has it. So in this town, we are having cinnamon, since carts uses wood to make carts. Go to the inn. We are making 5 extra carts here. So pressing circle, we go out, and the carts will show up here. If there are any excess carts, it will show up here. And so if there's an excess cart here, and as our trader passes by, he will automatically pick it up. So that's part of the perk that I picked up. And then again on the D-pad, this one shows what kind of prioritization we are asking our AI, the trader AI, to do. Balance means he's trying to balance the needs of consumers as against the needs of producing factories. On production, he will try to reserve more products. Instead of selling it to the consumers immediately, he will try to go to towns that has shortages of materials and keep more of those for those. So he's estimating, the AI is estimating how much is consumer needs and how much is production needs. And then we will go into the manual one. So for somebody who is really, really, really micromanaging it, he can go to each different town that this guy will visit, and it will say, okay, you will buy what and you can sell what. So that is how detailed it can get. And so you go by different towns. Now in this one, I have set, normally when you set a trading route, we will set it like from this town, it will jump to this town, come down here, come down here, come down here, go back to this town, and then back to the starting point. So that would have been a one, thinking we have completed that route, right? But a trader can have up to 14 stops. So right now, our trader, if we look at his route using the D-pad left, going left or right, we see that he has 12 stops. This is, so, and it's taking him 12 stops, and it's taking him 16 weeks to make those 12 stops. So when I mentioned initially, the initial route was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stops, right? But I discovered that if we reverse the route that he traveled, we actually almost doubled the amount of money he makes. Because in this route, so we are selling items from Carob to Cork, and then all the way down. So how about selling Cork, products produced at Cork, to Carob? We won't do that if we just go this way, right? So by finish after, we have the 7 routes. So instead of now going back again, repeating that route, so we go back the way we came, right? And then go to this stop, go that, to Cork, and then come back to the starting point. So in effect, if this was a city with 4, like this one, over here, like, do we have a trader here? Like this trader, so this would be going clockwise and counterclockwise. So in effect, we have a better way of distributing products from city to city. And that's why when we were doing this, I found out that as long as we do not go over, we cannot go over 14 stops anyway. As long as we're within the 14 stops route, we can visit as many cities as we want if we keep it to 14 routes or 14 stops. So by going clockwise and counterclockwise, or going backwards, we found out that we can almost double the income we make on that particular cities. So that's very important to know and to do. So again, the whole point about these cities is that we have 5 cities, and we're trying to make sure that each city tries to make something different from the next city. So right here, there are some repeats, right? This one and this one, there are some repeats here. And then like these 4 cities over here, there are almost no repeats. Yeah, there are no repeats here. So there are 5 products per city and 4 cities. So we have made all 20 products. And so that is why for the trader here, initially, I had just him running these 4 cities here on a clockwise, counterclockwise basis. And then I found out that they are short on ham. I never made ham. Oh, I was short on ham. Oh, no, sorry. It was the other way around. I think this city was short on ham because ham can only be made if we have salt. And so salt combined with prairies allows us to produce ham. But here they are all within, they're landlocked. The cities here are landlocked. So I'm trying to push some bacon and salt to the city so that some of these, because going back to the city, the last 3 items on each column are considered luxury items. These last 3 items, cake, bacon, and pump, garments, tools, and textiles, they're the high price items. So they're considered luxury items. Now, it's very important for a city to have access to almost all. See, like this city, we are lacking in wine, coal, metal, and pottery. Uh, we're also short on ham and pump. Pump represents the ultimate luxury in this game. And so if we have a city that has everything, we will see its prosperity go up. So right now we're rising because we have given them uh, some level of luxury, not all of it, and so that is why luxury rising. And the reason why we want prosperity is rising. The reason why we want prosperity rising is that this number over here, the more prosperous a city is, the more people it will attract from the countryside to come into the city, which makes a lot of sense, right? So the more people that comes in here, then the more we can get workers to do our factories. The biggest draw for a city is the businesses availability. So every manufacturing, every like this one, we have 13 factories making wool, and so each factory employs 25 people, and 25 people has, and each worker supports three more people. So that's our entire population is 7,000, and these are our workers. We have 1,750 workers, and then these are free workers. So these have been attracted to our city already, and so that's why we're building more businesses to accommodate them. And this lower number here represents 5 people coming into our cities every week. So the higher the prosperity of the city, of course, the higher the population base, the higher the number and prosperity, the number of people coming into town also increases. And so again, number one factor for attracting people is number of businesses. We're making more. And number two is prosperity. And prosperity is dependent upon the number of goods available in town. So this symbol over here represents the carts that are available in the city. So that if we want, like this guy over here, this is what I just did was that I have them start making carts here in Cinnamon. So once the trader here, who has been authorized to increase the number of carts he has, he will automatically pick it up. But again, that's part of a perk that I have invested in. So so I cannot overemphasize the concept of the trading routes. Go both ways, forward and backward, because it will always double the income. And then for a quick overview of our trading routes, pressing the big PS4 rectangular button and going to units and towns, and R1 to go to trading routes, we can see a very quick recap of how each route is doing for that current time. And so here it also shows the workload. So that means the workload is determined. One of the factors for the workload is the condition of the roads. The higher the quality of the roads, then the lower the workload. And then it also shows us he is dragging around 300 barrels out of potential 3,000 K barrels. So like this character. So this trader, different traders, immediately wow, we have one, and pressing X shows us that this is the most money-making route there is. Now for the trader that we have here, right? If we press on units and towns, what is his name? Okay, it shows that we are increasing his current. His name. He's over here, right? So currently, his name on the lower left-hand corner, it shows Novika Kovacevic. He at the bottom is like 2K out of 2K. So he's dragging around 2,000 barrels out of potential 2,000 barrels. And that is the reason why using the D-pad, we can go to the cart side, and we added, going here, we can add or subtract the number of carts we want him to add on to his route, to his train. So that's the reason why we are trying to give in more carts. Now if we come in real close, we'll see, look at the big train he has. So these are the cars. So it's really, really interesting. We can actually watch him move. So that means he's headed towards this town now. So again, this is for me a very useful tool when I check to see how each trader is doing. And so if we look at this trader, oh, these are just relatively some of the newest cities that we just formed. And that's why even then they are already starting to make money. Like this guy is already starting to make money. And then in terms of trying to see how, let's say like when we were here, going back to this Pent City, this 5 pentaplex, like we see this guy, let's say we see this guy producing wine, right? So wine, so by checking to see how do we know we should make more wine? Like how do we know we should make more wine? Right now we have 9 factories making wine. So does it make sense to add more? And here, by going to the trading window, we see that there's just adequate wine available in this town. However, if we check, so that means our trader has to go to 1 stop, 2 stop, 3 stops, right? So if we come over here and we check on this one and go to the trade window, we see that there are no wines here. So that means wines being made here doesn't get to here. So that means there is room to build more factories for wine, right? So in this case, let us build, say, in this case, what level town is? Oh, this has 2,426 people. We can build maybe three more. So that way we will not be surprised that this town will have a surplus of wine. So right now, that's why wine in Cork Town would have sold for 200 gold pieces per barrel if we had it, if our trader has enough to bring it all the way here. So apparently by the time he gets to Cinnamon has bought up all the wine that our trader carried with him. So that's why one of the reasons why we have to add more carts to our trader, so he can drag around more goods. And number 2 is that maybe the production here is not enough. So this town is not a good gauge because in the opposite direction, this would be the first stop, right? While this will always be also a possible first stop, while these two could be second or third stops. That's why looking at them gives us an indication, should we produce more wine? So in this case, the answer is yes, we should produce more wine. Like this one this one is producing garments. So if we come over here, we will check on our trade window. Look, we need more garments. Here, the same. Yes, we need more garments. Can you imagine we can sell garments for 900 gold per barrel? Now the problem is, garments cannot be made without, so we need wool, and then wool to be turned into textile, and then textile combined with wool, with fur, can be made into garments. So that means we cannot make more stuff because our main building block of bricks and wood, there's no stock on bricks, and there's a little bit on wood, but there's no stocks on bricks. So that means we're short on bricks, and bricks comes from all the way here. So there's one thing that this game is trying to tell us when the game advises that we build complementary cities, so that it will encourage trading in between them. So I have tried that, like in this case. So this town builds bricks, and this town builds or makes wood. So they are complementary products, meaning, every town needs bricks and wood to create stuff. But I have found that in a situation like this, like in this quad here, 1, 2, 3, 4, it is for me, I find it much easier to build both wood and bricks in the same town, and so that if I want to ramp up production, it is much simpler and much faster for me. Not simpler, much faster for me to be able to ramp up production. The same thing about making pump. Pump requires uh, pump requires tools and pottery to make pump. Now tools requires coal and metal to make tools, and pottery requires coal and pottery to make pottery. So I prefer to just group them together and just sell pump to the other three towns rather than have the trader going back and forth. There's shortage here, shortage there, shortage everywhere, and it's hard to ramp up the production. So anyway, it's up to your playstyle how you want to do it, but the options button, going down to tips, you go down to economy and events like that. Its recommendation is complementary cities, or cities making complementary products. I think that's a better way to go. I believe it might be a better way to go, but I have not found that to be as good in terms of ramping up my cities as when I have both wood and bricks. The reason is, if we look at wood and bricks, if we want to make more wood factories, lumberjacks, it requires bricks. And if we need to make more bricks factories, kilns, it requires more wood. So if we have both in the same town, we can quickly ramp up the production of both wood and bricks without waiting for the trader to deliver stuff from the next town. So that's how I feel, and that's how for me the ramping up process is much faster. Anyway, so that's the basic on economics, that everything is a cost. Production of factories is a cost. The trader itself has cost. Like when we look at the trading routes, we can see that there's purchases, there's sales, and a maintenance cost. The maintenance cost is what we pay the trader and the number of carts he's dragging around. So that's why if we don't have a good product portfolio, meaning if we have cities that are producing all the same things instead of different things, then he will be going around and not doing any buying and selling, and therefore he'll be eating up cost. So the cities on their own are making a little money, like this is making 3,000, but the trader on this route, we can see he is making 101,000 gold pieces for over a 16-week period. So, and then we can see that in the going back to the units in town, we can see that here, right? This is a different trader. If we're going to Novika Kovachivek, this is all Novika Kovachivek. See, this is the guy that we are currently focused on. So he is dragging around 2,000. He's dragging around carts that can carry 2,000. It's actually dragging around 2,000. So this is how much he is expected to make. He has 12 towns to visit in a span of 16 weeks. And this is the statistics of buy, sell, and what's his net income. So 101,000 less the 14,000 or something. I don't know. It's just coming out. So he's making more money. He's making 73,000 on that route. Okay, I guess that's it for this gameplay mechanics. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you will join me in the episodes for the gameplay tutorial. Bye!